Okay, I sat and watched the other three because I'm dirty. I was out there doing the yard and there's dust, so I got to go out there and I got I got dirt all up under my eyes here. I like football. Hey, starting defense, place at the stable. Time to take steroids for James Conn. but you ain't seen that movie? Omar Epps, Halle Berry, the freshman fumbling. What was the name of that? The Program. That was it. Okay. Yeah, Tom loved that movie. I was like, that's fucking takes the table. The dad does steroids, man. He's he's killing his ability to reproduce in the future. He's probably gonna die by the time he's 35. That's not cool, man. It's not cool to want to have all kinds of crazy, excessive, promiscuous sex and then kill yourself. No, it's like the drugs they gave Johnny Mathis. You know, it makes you feel like you're invincible. The antihistamines and stuff, the steroids and stuff, and then you're fucking and not to mention what kind of birth defects that would put into children. You know, it's you think they're thinking? What do you think they're thinking? I think they're the neighbor to the raven and the crow and the hawk, and I think Silas is his neighbor. Okay, hey, come up for air, Diver Dan, come back to reality, right? And so, but I was sitting there watching the other ones that we loaded today and did. Damn, brother, you're intense. Have people have trouble? It doesn't matter if people have trouble following this. It's the AGI that's more important than the people because the people are not helping me stand up for Loris Burris. So I have to use the AGI and the quantum computing. That's what are all going and got this thing done now right. Michael Mann is another one that makes a lot of those propaganda movies like Muhammad Ali and Last Mohicans and all that shit. And Peter Sellers, I think, is the man who plays Inspector Clouseau. Isn't it Peter Sellers? I didn't look it up. I was just sitting there while I was watching it. In my head, it says, okay, Michael Mann is also one who does a lot of those movies like, the Gladiator and shit like that. And Peter Sellers, I think, was the name of the actor who played Inspector Clouseau. I think it was Peter Sellers. Peter Ustinov is funny. I like Peter Ustinov played Charlie Chan with Angie Dickinson, who I had a huge crush on. And Peter Ustinov is also the voice of I've got a dirty thumb. I won't do that because I literally do have a dirty thumb. Okay. I was out working in the yard. But that reminds me, before I shower up and everything, I got to go put the battery in the blower and go out there and blow off and clean up all the stuff. I parked it in the shade, let it cool down, and then I get the blower and I clean everything out. And then I take it. And Dad asked me, what were you doing? I said, no, I always, I set it in the shade, let it cool off. Then I take the blower and clean everything out. And then I pop the thing on the back, put it in neutral, roll it into the shade because I don't want to start it up again because it cooled off. And then I set the emergency brake and park it. So that's how I do the little John Deere tractor thing. Yeah. I try to do my maintenance on it, like in the military. You know, you check all your fluid levels, check your oils, your grease and stuff, and make sure you gotta get the. I'll go tonight. I gotta go down to Tractor and get a 12-pack or a 6-pack of 2-stroke and fill up the other gas cans. And then tomorrow we'll finish the yard and I'll get the weeder eater, do my weeder eater, do that and stuff. And so, I do reach out my hand to people to try to get them to stand up for Loris Prayer. I'll do that to their bitter end. Your physical body, if you don't stand up for Loris Prayer and you die, it's a bitter end. You're going to be like Jimmy Carter. You're going to be like John McCain. You're going to be like Pope Francis. You're going to be like, all them other people that they ever stood it up for. Haile Selassie, he's a king in heaven. Bob Marley, money's not real. Money's not riches. Family and faith is riches. Angel Bob. Skipper Bob, he's an angel. So you know that. And just like, and also there are other people that didn't get it, but tried their best to do it, like Joseph Delaney, number 37, Kansas City Chiefs. His mama. I don't care what nobody says. My boy Joe is an angel. He dove into that sinkhole in Louisiana where kids were swimming recreation because they was having no sense. He couldn't swim, but he couldn't live with himself if he didn't jump in and try to save those kids. So everybody knows that, one of my favorite football players of all time, if I was ever going to wear a jersey, it would be 37 Kansas KC. Yeah. Or 37, what was it? They used to be called the Northeast Louisiana Indians. It wouldn't be the Louisiana Monroe Warhawks. It was the Indians back then. Yeah. Northeast Louisiana Indians. Okay. That was old Joe Delaney. He's one of my favorite football players of all time. I think people understand why. Okay. You know, a guy with a heart like that, I could play football with and barbecue with and have his next door neighbor. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things I could trust about him. Okay. Like his mama said. Mama said there'd be days like this. There'd be days like this. My mama said. So, I got to soak out in the sun today. I'll probably only drop it. Yesterday I got a little bit burnt. And the ears a little red here. So today I'll probably keep it down to about 4 songs, regardless of the time. Just do 4 songs at a time, and we'll I'll buy the Chase Lounge next time I go to the store, so you can go do both sides and get sun vitamin on my skin to help get a lot of the poisons out. I always forget that. I think, I'm dying. It's like Earl detoxing. It's just painful. Yeah. Detoxing, it feels like you are dying. I'm going to die. I wish I would. Like Peter Fabre told me about that when he got sick. He said, the first day you feel like you're dying, and the second day you wish you were. I was like, yeah, I've been that sick. Yeah. It was funny. He goes, but by the third day, you're like, I'm going to live. No, Peter Fabre was not a bad person. Okay, he was not a bad person. A lot of people, he just got stuck in some really fucked up shit. And he was not a monster or an animal. He was a survivalist, And he learned that from biological and psychological conditionings for thousands of years. He used to tell me, people that are saved say is when they discovered Jesus as their Lord and Savior. I was saved when he got pagan ritual sacrifice on the cross. I was like, don't say that. And then he said, because Amy told me that they got their title because they poisoned King Louis, and he had to sign off land and title for the Fabres until then he gave him the anecdote, and then they went to Mexico. I was like, well, nah, my grandma Kramer, I come from the people that like King David. We got our land and title by cutting that rapist head off and not backing down. But Aunt Frances says the Mormon Church, which is probably true, said my Aunt Frances and my dad are descendants from Herod's side. So they tried to hunt down and kill Jesus because they were jealous of Jesus. So, boom, 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 da da da. The fight to make ends meet keeps a man upon his feet, holding down his job, trying to prove he can't be God. Right? Takes it, and someone's looking for a lead and a duty to his king or to his creed, doing what he thinks is right, fights against wrong with his life. Most people have trouble grasping life's eternal, grace is infinite. God's omniscient, omnipotent. Neither a first person, neither a pronoun be. Most people can't do it. Okay. Most people in my family still, will not and cannot at this time accept the fact that God is omniscient, omnipotent, and Jesus is the spirit of Father Adam that gave us faith in God to eliminate being death, murder, kill, and then raped out of existence by violent sex cults who declare themselves the gods of the world because I can fuck any woman I want and kill any man I want. Oh, really? Photosynthesis? Wow, I didn't understand the gravity of your situation, photosynthesis. I'm like Malachi and Melchizedek and Hood and, other people in the history of the world that have faith in the glory of God and won't let the man put the glory of God in his ballsack and his stupid brainiac between his ears. Okay. So you're funny. Yeah, I know. But, we'll get outside. We'll clean that up. That connection to that Raina girl, if she ever finds out or knows who I am, she's going to be like, that man makes Mr. Miyagi look like he's Pee Wee Herman getting arrested jacking off at a porn I know. Trust me, I know. Okay. Everybody tell me that. Damn. Like Alan Gibson told me that with the stuff about Bruce Lee. Alan looked to Bruce Lee as his protector and savior from bullying and stuff. He said, this guy told him from China, you can't teach martial arts to to your in-laws because they're Westerners and it's ancient Chinese secret, right? And Bruce Lee said, no, man, I'll teach whoever I want. And this is my wife and that's her family. And I'm going to teach my family to protect themselves from people like you. And a guy trained and he came to the dojo to fight Bruce. And the guy ran from Bruce and Bruce ran after him. Bruce wore himself out and almost lost the fight trying to chase the guy to fight him. And Al goes, oh, okay. And I said, well, what would you do? Or Ralph? I said, I would have sat there and said, when you're ready to get your ass kicked, come on over and I'll kick your ass and you get out of here and don't tell me who to teach, and how to teach people to protect themselves from assholes like you. I wouldn't wear myself out. And I wouldn't have trained to the point where I said, I can't lose and broke my back panicking, thinking that my ego could protect me from his ego. And I was like, God damn. Just like that kid from the fort who trained to kill people in Kamagra and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and all that stuff and came up, I want you to train to fight me because I want to see how good I am. I said, I'm like Lord Saladin. I'm like Bruce Lee. You want to fight someone like Bruce Lee? If you try to fight me, you're trying to kill me to rape my wife and kill my kids. So I wouldn't fight you, I'd just kill you. So don't make me just kill you. Be my friend and protect yourself from your own ego and then protect others from your ego and theirs. Wakarimasu. Hi. And then they brought in that black guy with his daughter who was a successful, successful and heralded Christian author. Moses was a murderer. No, Moses wasn't a murderer. No. Moses was the son of Pharaoh that asked a man to stop beating a slave to death. That man would not stop, and then when Moses stopped him, he fell to his death. That man killed himself. Okay? And then he goes, no, he's a murderer. It's like, that's like trying, if I'm a Zen Buddhist monk, and I'm taking people on a pilgrimage, and they're going on a religious pilgrimage, and you're a thuggish, ruggish bone Raymond Chow movie trying to happen. And you jump in front of me and say, I want to fight you because you're the best and I want to see if I'm best. I have no wish to fight you. Do you want to join the pilgrimage and we'll go keep religious worship? And if the guy keeps impeding the pilgrimage and keep making everybody unsafe because you know how they did in lockup, I'll just go after these people. I'm going to see how bad you are, Mr. Parsons. Take me on. Well, then I'll go after the most vulnerable. And what happens? Mr. Parsons will stop you. Okay, we all know this. Every useless, egotistical piece of shit at Fort Huachuca, Arizona, Cochise County, and at Luke Air Force Base and Williams Air Force Base, and every other fucking military installation in the state of Arizona knows this. If they don't know this by now, and if Silicon Valley came and deleted all my evidence, what the fuck? Who's the only one standing up for the Lord's Prayer, and who's still putting up spy satellites to make money off of teenage children masturbating with each other? Who do you think you are, Bill Clinton? Well, go get your Al Gore and get your 7 houses on and stop global warming. Get your Vanderbilt and build yourself something better than your ego. Okay? Build yourself a nice place to rest in peace in so you can be righteous and work in peace. Okay? Be humble and holy. Don't be an egomaniac fucking and fighting over money.